Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 8th of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you the standout details to look out for that we can all collectively relate to, but please stay with me. I will then explore each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces in much greater detail. Now this week sees Jupiter and Pluto continue their right angle. Pluto's about power and of course is now in retrograde. Jupiter is about expansion. So when we get them at right angles, there can be a tendency to try a little bit too hard, or we may encounter somebody who's trying to enforce their will on us. And at the heart of this week's events, of course, is the energy compacted into the sign of Taurus. This is where the Sun is, which is critical, the retreating, retrograding Mercury, but also the North Node. So our values, our everyday money, our self-worth, still very much in focus. But we now have Venus in the sign of Cancer along with Mars, and that's a water sign, and they're both interacting really positively with two influences in another water sign of Pisces, and that's in the guise of Saturn and Neptune. So what can we take from this? Well, I feel that this is a week where we need to be very tuned in to how things feel. So even if we're dealing with some practicalities, very Taurus-like energy, or money, or we're grappling with something that may not necessarily be that easy due to the Mercury retrograde, there could be some snags or snares or some rethinking going on. The best way to navigate all of this is to listen to our inner guide, so our sixth sense, because when we go against that, that's when things can get a little tricky. But we also have a quarter moon in the sign of Aquarius on Thursday, where Pluto is, and that is in a square with the Sun in Taurus. So I feel one of the things that can come into this week could be some challenges around our future planning or our connections to others, where our values or the financial elements of a situation don't quite stack up in the way that we hope, which is the 11th house energy of higher expectations. So we need to keep our feet very much on the ground with this earthy energy, but tune into how things feel. Now, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for joining us. This is very much a community. I'd be honoured if you'd subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And do share any thoughts you have. I try to interact with each one. If you're a returning visitor, thank you so much for joining me once more. And if you would like your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, then please see the link below where you can subscribe. I've been writing these for about 28 years, and I think that's unusual amongst the YouTube astrologers. So Cancer, your week commencing the 8th of May forecast sees Venus gaining a toehold in your sign. If you do think about giving yourself some kind of makeover, it wouldn't be a surprise. I see there's a new trend developing amongst celebrities, not that I'm a great celebrity watcher, where they're taking out some of the cosmetic procedures that they've had done, the fillers and deflating the lips and all that kind of stuff. And it's interesting because Venus in your sign is very much about tuning into the emotional dimension, the inner beauty. But also, of course, Venus can be about money. So perhaps in the first house, along with Mars, this is giving you an opportunity to work with your talents, your flair, your artistry, and make the most of those with their help. Now, they're both forging very impressive links with other planets, which will really be helpful. But of course, Mercury does continue to retrace its steps. And for you, it is in the part of your situation to do with your longer term future. And if things are dragging around something that you've set your sights on, totally understandable if that is a little exasperating. But just know Mercury is forging a very stable link with Saturn. So even if things are moving forwards at somewhat of a snail's pace, I think they probably are still moving forwards. Even if it may not be manifestly obvious. Maybe it's just to do with your determination. Maybe it's to do with you clarifying the long-term plan. Maybe it's to do with your connections to others. So even though you might not take a giant step this week, I think you can still take some steps forwards. Now the quarter moon, which occurs on Thursday, that is a little bit more complicated because for you it works across the 11th and the 8th houses. So where the position of the sun is, the 11th house, very much about those higher hopes for the future. The position of the moon in Aquarius is where you had Saturn until the 7th of March for the last couple of years. So you've probably gone through a period where finance was a bit stuck, or your connection to others felt challenging at times. Intimacy of all kinds, just being easily flowingly friendly with people may have felt a little stunted unless there was some deeper connection there to justify it. But I feel that this quarter moon just suggests that if there are any politics around your friendships or your connections, I think you're going to push back on that a little bit. But that's a good thing. And I feel with Mars and Venus in your sign, that gives you more strength of purpose to stick to what you feel is really important for you. And also with the reverberations of last week's lunar eclipse so very strong, that in itself is asking you to manifest your individual talents, skills and hopes and not be deflected. So your single-mindedness, which is a great trait of Cancer people, is emphasized in a positive way this week. But you could decide to change how you look, how you dress, and that could be very good. Or you may be focusing on some talents. But if things aren't quite moving forwards quite at the speed of light, stick with the process. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data, of time, date and place of birth, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This can help you to get a much more intimate understanding of the patterns that have played out in your life so far, but also seize the opportunities much more firmly. Also, my special package of 30% off, you will get your 12-month personal forecast, totally unique to you, which can give you searing insights for the time and months to come. If you don't know your time of birth, I've a new product I've developed based very much on the sun. So if you enjoy watching your sun sign videos on YouTube, these will make a lot of sense. The same package, 30% off. Please see the link below. It's been a pleasure being with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do like, comment or subscribe.